Please be seated. The court is now in session. Today, the chamber will hear the remainder of the testimony of witness Sraiton, and then we will hear the testimony of a witness through TCW 852. The greffier Ye Siu Huang, could you report the attendance of the parties and individuals to today's proceedings? Greffier, Mr. President, for today's proceedings, all parties to discuss are present. As for Noon Jie, he is present in the holding cell downstairs, as he requests to waive his right to be present in the courtroom. His waiver has been delivered to the greffier. The witness who is to conclude his testimony, Mr. Sraiton, is present with his duty counsel, Duch Paris. They are both in the courtroom. The reserved witness through TCW 852 already took an oath before the Iron Club statue on the 23rd February 2015. He has Mr. Moon Sawan as his duty counsel. However, Mr. Duch Paris will replace Mr. Moon Sawan this afternoon, as he is not available. President, thank you. Mr. Se Huang. The Chamber now decides on the request by Noon Jie. The Chamber has received a waiver from Noon Jie, dated 24 February 2015. He confirms that due to his poor health condition, that is headache and back pain, and that he cannot sit for long, and in order to effectively participate in the future hearings, he requests to waive his right to participate in and be present at the 24 February 2015 hearing. He has been informed by his counsel about the consequence of this waiver, that in no way it can be construed as a waiver of his rights to be tried fairly or to challenge evidence presented or admitted to this court at any time during this trial. Having seen the medical report by the duty doctor for the accused at the ECCC, dated 24 February 2015, who notes that the health condition of Noon Jie is that he has constant back pain and he cannot sit for long, and recommends that the Chamber shall grant him his request so that he can follow the proceedings remotely from a holding cell downstairs. Based on the above information and pursuant to Rule 81.5 of the ECCC internal rules, the Chamber grants Noon Jie's request to follow the proceedings remotely from a holding cell downstairs via an audio-visual means for today's proceedings, as he waives his direct presence in the courtroom. The AV unit is instructed to link the proceedings to the room downstairs so that Noon Jie can participate in and follow today's proceedings remotely. And the Chamber will now hand the floor to the defense team for Kieu Sampon to put questions to this witness. Do you have the floor?
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Bonjour.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Mr. Srepan. My name is Anta Gise. I am International Counsel for Mr. Kieu Sampan, and it is in this capacity that I will put some questions to you in the follow-up to your testimony I'll try to put specific questions to you. If you do not understand any of my questions, please do let me know and I'll be more specific. The first point, you stated that you were assigned to Kran Chachan as part of your military duties by a cadre in your hierarchy. You mentioned your superiors Ta-An and Ta-In, and you stated that during your assignment they did come. I do not know whether both came or it's only one of them who came to Kran Chachan, and that they came only once. Did I properly understand your testimony?
That named is not my military commander, and my commander himself never visited Kran Chachan. The name that you pronounced was not correct.
Alors, est-ce que vous pouvez, dans ces...
In that case, could you please correct me and tell me what was the name of your direct superior during that period? That would be my first question to you.
The military commander of Regiment 13th was Ta, and another one was Min.
Et si je comprends votre déposition de...
And if I understand what you're saying this morning, none of them came to Kran Chachan. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Hier, répondant à une question...
Yesterday, in answer to a question put to you by Judge Lavang, you stated that you received instructions from your superiors only once during the period when you were at Kran Chachan. Can you tell us when you received those instructions and who gave you those instructions if the persons who came to Kran Chachan were not your superiors?
At that time, the instruction was not relayed from anybody superior on a daily basis. We had to be mastery of ourselves. So the instruction was given only once, and during the few months period that I stayed at Kran Chachan, it means I did not receive any further instructions.
Mais il y a bien un moment où vous avez...
But there was a time when you left Kran Chachan, and I suppose that you did so following instructions that you had received. I do not think you did so at your own behest. You must have received instructions from someone. Can you tell us when you received those instructions and who gave you those instructions?
Please rephrase your question and make it more specific.
Vous avez indiqué, si je...
If I remember correctly, you stated that you arrived in Kran Chachan between 1976 and 1978, and that you left Kran Chachan in 1978. Who told you to leave Kran Chachan, and when did you receive those instructions to leave Kran Chachan?
After I concluded my duty in 1978, my military commander transferred some of members of my unit into another unit and to perform our roles or duties as a soldier.
J'ai bien compris qu'il y avait...
I have indeed understood that there was an order that you be transferred. What I am trying to understand from your statement is how you received that order. Did someone come to Krantachan to give you that order, or did you get it from someone else? Who did you get it from? Was it from Duke or from someone else?
At that time, the instruction was relayed through messengers, and messengers existed at various levels, namely at the village level or the commune level, and there were also messengers for the army.
Est-ce que je dois comprendre?
Should I take it then that it was a military messenger who transmitted that order to you?
Yes, that is correct.
Toujours en rapport.
Still with regard to the army, do you know whether Anne and Duke, his assistant, had acquired some experience in the army before they were appointed to be superiors or heads of Krantachan?
To my recollection, they did not have experience in the army. They never worked as a soldier.
Et est-ce que vous savez?
And do you know whether at any point in time, whether through messengers or some other means, they were in contact with your superior, if only to inform them that you are going to move to Krantachan to settle there with your unit?
I was not aware of that.
Je voudrais aborder un point avant de revenir à Krantachan.
Before we revisit the issue of Krantachan, I would like to talk about your military training. When you joined the Khmer Rouge, were you informed of the 12 moral principles or the 12 revolutionary commands?
When we joined the army, there were the so-called 12 principles of the military, but I cannot recall the details.
Est-ce que, même si je comprends bien,
Even though I understand that your memory may not be very clear today, but tell me, among those principles, was there a principle regarding misconduct vis-à-vis women? Do you recall that?
I cannot recall that.
hier, quand
Yesterday, when my learned colleague, Kope, told you that Sai Sen had accused you of raping women at Krantachan Center, you said that was a fabrication. And you stated specifically that the Khmer Rouge wouldn't spare you if you committed an act of moral misconduct. Regarding that commandment not to commit any acts of misconduct, was that one of the orders that had been handed down to you by your superiors?
Yes, that was part of the moral principles of the army.
Je voudrais plus précisément maintenant en venir.
In more specific terms, let us now talk about your unit. You stated that there were 6 of you in your unit assigned to guard Krantachan. I would like you to confirm to me the names of the persons who are members of that unit. Mr. President, yesterday, as a matter of fact, my team stated yesterday that we have circulated to the interpreters a list of names in Khmer and a list of names in French and English with a view to assisting them not to misspell names or to mispronounce names. So I gave them that list to be sure that those names would be properly pronounced in Khmer, and if you'd allow me, I will use that list to avoid any problems. So within your unit, there was yourself. Was there a person called Seng? That is number 14 on the list.
Yes, there was.
Est-ce qu'il y avait bien un...
Before proceeding, could you please give us the full name of that person called Seng?
No, I don't know his full name. We only knew him by Sang.
Est-ce que, au sein de votre unité,
Within your unit, was there a soldier called Sim? And if yes, can you give us his full name?
Yes, there was Sim.
et est-ce que vous avez son nom complet?
And do you know his full name?
No, I don't. I only know his first name, Sim.
Est-ce que, au sein de votre unité, il y a...
Was there a person called Swan in your unit? That is number 18 on the list.
Yes, there was.
Est-ce que vous avez son nom complet et
Do you know that person's full name? And does the name Van Swan ring a bell to you?
He was known as Son, and I do not know his family name.
est-ce qu'il y avait un lien de parenté avec...
Were there any kinship ties between Swan and number 14, that is Seng?
I do not know. I do not know their backgrounds.
Au sein de votre unité, est-ce qu'il y avait bien...
Within your unit, was there a person by the name Deutsch? That's number 21 on the list.
Yes, there was.
Et est-ce qu'il y avait bien un certain Wok?
How about number 22, Wok? Was he also a member of your unit?
I cannot recall the name of U.
Est-ce que vous vous souvenez, parce que là je vais citer...
I cited the names of 5 persons, and you told me that You do not remember Oak being a member of your unit. And the name of the last person, was that person a member of your unit?
No, I don't.
Vous avez fait donc une distinction entre
You made a distinction between the members of your unit who were soldiers who had been assigned by the army, and these people were different from those assigned to Kranta Chan and who were directly under the orders of An and Duk. Do I understand, therefore, that there were two groups, your group and a group of staff members who took their orders from An and Duk?
Yes, that is correct.
Est-ce que vous vous souvenez le nom
Do you remember the names of the other persons who are not members of your unit and who are permanent staff members at Kranta Chan?
I cannot recall their names. That is the names of the staff working at the Chan office.
Je vais vous lire
I will read out to you an extract of the testimony of Ms. Soka at the hearing of the 21st of January 2015. The transcript number is EA/289.1. It was at about 11:48, and he refers to a number of persons. I would like to know whether these or this extract would jog your memory. This is what Ms. Soka said, and I quote: "There were 10 guards. Some came from Trao commune." Let me point out that the proper names in the French transcript are not accurate. Some came from Krao commune to guard prisoners. Pai An was the chief of the guards. And when Dutch was there, he was the chief. Mun, Pen, Chun. Mun is number 11 on the list. Pen is number 13. Chun is number 5 on the list. Oak, O-U-K. Sieng, that's number 5 on the list. And a few others were subordinates. I remember some of these people. There were Swan, Sin, Seng, Duk. 5 bore that name. There was also Uk. They were guards. As for Duk, he was the one who took notes. Sieng, S-I-E-N-G, was in charge of killings. Men and Cheng were killers. And there were 6 guards collecting prisoners from the building to another location to be killed. End of quote. Now, Mr. Witness, can you tell me whether these names referred to by witness Mitsuka jog your memory? Was Mun, number 11 on the list, someone you remember?
I only heard of the name Moon, but I did not know the person.
Est-ce que le nom de Pen
Does the name Penn, that's number 13 on the list, ring a bell?
It's the same thing. I only heard of the name. They were the staff working at Krantachan office. I heard of their names, but I did not know them.
Est-ce que le nom de Chen
Does the name Chen, number 5 on the list, ring a bell as the name of someone who worked at Krantachan?
I cannot recall that.
Est-ce que le nom
Does the name Ook remind you of anyone? That is O-U-K.
I cannot recall that name. It doesn't ring a bell at all.
And what about Singh? Number 16 on the list. Does that ring a bell?
Squall.
Yes, I know Sang.
et
And was he also among the people who were under Ang and Duk's command?
មិនមែនទេ
No, it was not. Sang was a member within my unit.
So we're speaking about number 16 on the list, huh? So, Siang, can you repeat the question to the witness so that I may be sure about this?
I know the person by the name of Sang.
et donc le Seang S-E-A-N
So, therefore, number 16, S-E-A-N-G, Siang is someone you don't know. Is that correct?
ស្គាល់ឈ្មោះសាំងគឺ
I know a person by the name of Sang.
Je suis désolée,
I apologize because I'm told by my colleague that the pronunciation of name 16 on the list was maybe not the right one. I'm speaking about S-E-A-N-G, seeing.
est-ce que vous connaissez la personne
So do you know this person? This person whose name was just given to you?
បាទមិន
Answer, I did not know this person.
et est-ce qu'un certain
And what about a certain Sung, number 19 on the list? Was he among the staff at Krang Tachang?
បាទខ្ញុំអត់
Answer, I did not know this person either.
et est-ce que un
And what about a certain Sun, number 20 on the list? Does he ring a bell?
បាទអត់ទេ
Answer, I did not know this person.
Vous venez de m'indiquer que vous avez reconnu un certain nombre de noms.
You just told me that you recognized a certain number of names as being staff members at Krang Tachang. And you told me that you only knew their names and that you did not know them personally. So my question is, my first question, so when you were assigned to Krang Tachang, were you there 24 hours a day?
Answer. At that time, we were at our own place, that is our own hall, and my post was close to the fence. So I stayed in my post, and I was not allowed to move anywhere else beside my place. And on some occasion, or when we were assigned for a specific duty, we could go into the center, and if we were not assigned, we would stay in our place, so we could not move anywhere else.
Does that mean that that is where you washed, where you ate? You were always there at your post? There was a place where you could sleep. So can you tell me a little bit how things were organized? I have a bit of trouble visualizing this.
Answer. During that time, at my place, it was a hall, and we could have a hammock sleeping in. We slept in our own hammock.
Et c'est là également.
And is that also where you ate, or someone would bring meals to you from the Krang Tachang Center?
Answer. Yes, on some occasion, someone would bring the food to our place. However, we would have our own meal.
Et qui vous apportait votre nourriture?
And who was in charge of bringing meals to you? Was it one of the guards at Krang Tachang, or was it someone else?
Answer. Someone in the center, and I did not know this person.
In your statement before the co-investigating judges, that is document E319.1.25, at answer 44, when you answer the question, did An and Duc question prisoners, and you answer the following, free translation, yes, only they could do it, or Sieng, S-E-A-N-G, who was the closest to them. Sieng would also interrogate prisoners, but I did not know exactly what he did.
Donc vous avez.
So you brought up this person's name spontaneously when you were questioned by the investigators of the OCIJ. So can you tell us if this person was also a guard under the command of An and Duc?
Answer. As for Sieng, I heard of the name, and I never saw him physically. I heard his name from others. And as for An and Duc, the An and Duc were the real names of two individuals.
Mais dans votre.
But you said to the co-investigating judges that Sieng was the closest to them, and this is why he could also interrogate prisoners. So how did you know that if you never met him personally? How did you know that he was the closest to Ang and to Duik?
បាទនេះបើ
Answer. We did not need to make any presumption. If one or stay close to the two individuals, I could say that this person was close to those people. However, I did not know this person Sieng physically. Sieng was in the center as well, but as I said, I never saw him physically. I did not know him well.
Non, je ne sais pas si c'est un...
So I don't know if this is an interpretation issue. You say that you never met him personally, but then you could conclude that he was close to Ang and Duc because they were often together. So my question is, did you see them together often, or did I misunderstand what you said?
Answer. I saw the three people were together quite often, but I could not say whether Sieng was the close associate with the two individuals, but the three people were staying together very often.
And since you said you saw them often together, my question is, therefore, where did you see them often together?
បាទនៅក្នុង
Answer. In the office or rooms of An and Duik.
I will speak about your punctual work as a typist in a little while, but before that, you said a few minutes ago that unless you were given a specific assignment at the security center, your unit would remain where it was posted to supervise the center. So my question is, what kind of specific tasks could lead the members of your unit to go to the center as such?
Answer. I do not understand the question, Mr. President. Could you repeat your question, please?
No problem. I asked you where you were posted, and I asked you if you were always there, and you explained that there was a hammock where you were posted and that you would basically be there all the time. Did I understand correctly with regard to this particular point?
Answer. Yes. There was a hall at my place. We were no beds. There was only a roof, so we would sleep in our hammock.
D'accord. Et après...
And fine, and after having answered or provided that answer, you said that unless we had a specific task to complete, which would bring you to the center, you would remain at the same place. So my question is, what kind of specific task could lead you to go to the center, to the buildings at the center? For example, you were a typist, but what other kinds of tasks could lead your guard colleagues to go to the security center?
បាទអត់
Answer. Only I was allowed to go into the center. I lent a hand to do the typing, and for others, colleagues, they would not go into the center.
So you're saying that during the entire period when your unit was posted at Krang Tachang, none of the members of your unit actually went to the compound at Krang Tachang. Is that correct?
Answer. On some occasions, some of my colleagues, they would just accidentally walk past or walk into the center. But for their task, they would be on duty outside of the compounds.
Et donc ma question.
So my specific question is, why would your colleagues then go inside the compound?
Answer. I did not know about this.
Est-ce que
Did you know if at any given moment your colleagues performed specific tasks upon Duc and An's orders?
បាទខ្ញុំមិនដែល
Answer. I never received any order.
vous n'avez jamais reçu d'ordre, ma question est de savoir si vos collègues
You never received any orders, but my question was, did your colleagues receive any?
Answer. During that time, we were on our own and we minded only our business. We would know only what we were asked to do, and we did not care about others people.
So you explained when you were assigned that at the beginning you were stationed about 1 kilometer from the Krang Tachang compound, and then you started working closer to the gate. You explained that there were 2 gates, one on the east side, one on the west side. Did I understand correctly?
Answer. Yes, that is correct.
qui a décidé
Who decided that you had to be moved from the post where you were 1 kilometer away to be relocated to the gates on the east and west sides of the security center?
Answer. Tha and Mien.
et comment
And how did you receive those orders?
Answer. Through a messenger.
So, in reality, you received instructions at least twice from your superiors when you were posted outside of Krang Tachang. The time when you were moved to the gate and the time when you were asked to leave Krang Tachang. Did I understand correctly?
បាទ
Answer, that is correct.
Est-ce que
And aside from those 2 times, did you receive instructions from your superiors by messenger? Did you receive instructions at other times?
Answer. When we left the Krang Tachan Security Center, we went back to our headquarters and we stayed there.
Mais pour être sûr,
But to be sure I understood well, during the entire duration of your assignment at Krang Tachang, you only saw a messenger twice bringing orders from your superior to you. Is that indeed the case?
Answer. Messenger came only once when I was at Krang Tachan.
là, j'ai du
Here I have trouble understanding. Because you said that you received orders to no longer be 1 kilometer away from Krang Tachang, but to move up close to the gates, following orders from your 2 superiors. And you said that you had received these orders by messenger. And yesterday, and today, a little earlier on, you said that you received an order from your superior as well to leave Krang Tachang and to go to headquarters to receive your new assignment. So that's twice. Do we agree?
Answer. First, messenger came to tell me that and asked me to move closer to the gates of Krang Tachan Center. And for the second time, messenger came again, and I was removed back to my units.
Nous sommes d'accord.
So we agree. So once you were assigned to the gate, at the entrance, therefore, of the compound, who were the people you saw go through this gate? First of all, did you see An and Duik go through the gate?
Answer. Gates, as for the gates, people would go in and out through the west gates, and for the east gates, I rarely saw people moving in and out. And I saw only the people in the center moving in and out of that place. And for others, I never saw them move in or out of the center.
In your statement yesterday, we discussed a certain number of names and of prisoners who are at Krang Tachang, and you said that they had a rather special status. This is the case also for witness Mia Soka. So my question is, when you were assigned to the gate, did you see prisoners enjoying a special status who were allowed to leave the compound during the day?
Answer: I was not aware of this.
Plus précisément, je voudrais
And more specifically, I'd like to read out to you an excerpt from Ms. Soka's statement at the 21 January 2015 hearing, transcript E1/249.1, between 10:18 and 10:21. Ms. Soka, who therefore is the son of Yanor, whom you spoke about yesterday, and he says the following. Free translation. I would tend 2 cows and a few buffaloes. I would keep the livestock in the fields, but in the evening I would return to the detention center. I had to return before 5 p.m. Question. Can you tell us specifically where you were allowed to go to tend the livestock? Answer. I had to tend the buffaloes and the cows. I could do it pretty much everywhere. There were no restrictions. But the only condition was that I would return to the detention center before 5 p.m. And I also tried to catch frogs when I was outside. End of quote. So my question is, does this refresh your memory? Do you remember that certain prisoners could step out of the compound and go tend to the livestock outside?
Answer: yes. Children, small children, the minors, they were asked to go to tend the cows and buffaloes, and I did not recall those children specifically because they were too young.
Et est-ce qu'il
And would they go through the west gate or the east gate, or it didn't matter? Did you see these children yourself?
Answer: could you ask your question specifically who you were referring to?
Vous venez de m'indiquer que vous vous
You just told me that you remember that children could go tend to the cows outside. You said that you couldn't remember the names of these children, so I'm not going to ask you specific questions about their names. What I'm simply saying is that when you saw the children step out of the compound, did they step out through the gate that you were guarding, or through the west gate, or through the east gate?
Answer: the children would move out and in by using the east gates, the west gates rather. And as for the east gates, the children would use that gate once in a while. They used the west gate very regularly.
Can we say that in order to come in or to come out of the Krang Tachang compound, it was necessary to go through one of these 2 gates?
Answer: yes, that is correct.
Je
I would like to speak about something you said in your statement D125-129/129, corrects the interpreter. French ERN 00-234-575. Khmer 00-247-89. English ERN 00-231-674. And this is the question that was put to you. Who brought the people to transfer them to the compound? Free translation. The sub-district militias brought them in. My question is, therefore, when the militiamen would bring the prisoners into the compound, through which gate would they enter? The west gate or the east gate? And would you then give them the permission to go through that gate?
Answer. As I told you earlier, the west gate would be used very regularly. And as for the east gate, it would be used once in a while. So west gate would be used very permanently and regularly.
Et est-ce que vous avez vu des groupes de...
And did you see any groups of prisoners leave Krantachan Center to go outside, passing through one of those gates?
While I was there, no prisoner actually left through neither of the gates.
កាលពីហ្នឹងគឺរបងលុះ
And besides the two gates, there was no other exit as the fence was barbed wired. In short, nobody could leave the center without going through either of the two gates.
Vous avez indiqué que il y avait plusieurs...
You stated that there were various types of messengers, army messengers, commune messengers. Please tell us, when the messengers came, did they also get in through any of those gates? Did they get in through those gates to deliver their messages?
I did not know the details about the arrangement. Usually people from outside had stopped at the fence. They were not allowed to go inside the compound.
Et savez-vous comment parvenaient dans ces conditions les...
And under those circumstances, how were the messages delivered to Anne or to Dutch?
When the message was sent to the gate, then the guards there would in turn take it to their chief.
Une précision que je ne vous ai pas demandé.
I would like you to make one clarification that I haven't requested of you. At what point in time were you assigned to guard that entrance? Was it long before your departure from Krantachan?
Initially, I were posted about 1 kilometer from the compound, and I remained there for almost a year. That was by late 77 or early 78. I was sent to guard at the gate to Krang Tachan compound.
Donc si je comprends bien, début
If I understand your testimony correctly, that was early in 1978. That was when you were assigned to guard that gate. That is before your departure from Krang Tachan. Is that correct?
បាទត្រឹមត្រូវ
Yes.
dans mes notes, mais je ne suis plus sûre,
In my notes, I am no longer sure. You left Krang Tachan around July 1978. Did I correctly understand your testimony, or if I didn't, could you please give me an approximate period when you left Krang Tachan?
I cannot recall it clearly. However, it was around June or July 1978.
je vais essayer de vous rafraîchir la mémoire.
I will try to refresh your memory in light of your prior statements. D125/129, same page as that of the previous reference in French, 002345545, Khmer 0024719. In English, 002331674. And this was the question put to you. Up until when did you begin working at the office? Your answer, I did this work until March or April 1978. Later, when they learned that I knew how to type, they transferred me to work typing various documents inside the Krang Tachan office. If you place your departure from Krang Tachan around June, do you agree with me that in light of your statement, you guarded that gate in March at the very earliest and in June at the very latest?
As I have just stated, I was unsure of the exact month, and in fact it happened during the rice transplanting season.
Ok.
Right. You made mention of a person called Swang in your unit. Do you know whether at any point in time this person called Swang, that is number 18 on the list, fulfilled any duties as a messenger?
The 6-man unit that I belong to, none of us know any other roles that we performed besides the guarding duty. We were simply labeled combatants, and sometimes each or any of us could be called to do a certain specific duty upon the demand. And that kind of assignment was short. It was not our regular duty. And that applies to all the 6 men within the unit.
Et quand vous dites on pouvait
And when you say that you could be requested to carry out specific duties, at the request of who exactly did you carry out such duties?
At the Krang Tachan office, the only two superiors were An and Duch.
donc vous confirmez que vous receviez
So you are confirming that you did sometimes receive instructions from those two men, correct?
As to the work assignment that we were required to do, it was not the actual instructions from them. They just needed us to perform a specific assignment or task.
Vous avez expliqué hier
Yesterday, you stated that the reason why you were assigned to work as a typist was that, and I'm trying to remember, was that most of the Khmer Rouge were illiterate. Can you explain this point to the chamber and be more specific in your answer?
When I was asked to do the typing, I was not skillful in using the typewriter, as I stated earlier. My typing skill was limited, but it was doable. So it was just a secondary or miscellaneous job that I performed, and it was not a regular job. And I could only assist them in this typing because no other body could do it.
Vous voulez dire personne d'autre au sein de Krang?
When you say no one else in Krang Tachan, are you saying that most of the people at Krang Tachan were illiterate? Should I understand that as your testimony?
To my understanding, a majority of them was illiterate. It means they did not attend any school. And I believed only a minimal number of them actually know or knew how to read or write.
Dans votre déclaration D
In your statement D125/129, the ERN in French is 00234-576, ERN in English 00231-675. In Khmer, the ERN is 00224-7900. You spontaneously refer to two persons who were at Krang Tachan, to your recollection. And my question that was put to you is as follows. Do you have anything to add regarding Krang Tachan office? And your answer was as follows. I know that Sesen. I do not know where he lives now. I also know Nyang Dam, who is now living in Prap Siem village. My question to you is as follows. Can you tell us about Dam and specify whether she was a detainee or a staff member at Krang Tachan?
When I was there, Tadam was no longer there. And in fact, Tadam had been detained prior to my arrival. And I heard that he was a former chief of that prison, but somehow later on he was detained for the reasons unknown to me.
Seysen, à l'audience.
Seysen. I'm looking for the reference of the transcript.
Je vais retrouver les références plus tard.
I will find it later. In any case, during the hearing, he stated that Dam was initially a soldier who had become a prisoner because he was accused of moral misconduct. Does that jog your memory?
No, I did not hear anything about that. President, thank you, Defense Counsel Goucher. The time is appropriate for a short break. We will take a break now and return at 10:30. And court officer, please assist the witness and the adjudicatory counsel during the break and have them return to the courtroom prior to 10:30. The court is now in recess.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោកឈរ